good to see everyone here tonight. Glad you all decided to show up and take a nice Thursday evening, do something a little bit different. My name is Greg. I'm the production manager here at Aero Timber Framing. And the way this evening's going to go, Bert Sarkinen, the owner, is going to come up and give a little talk, a little intro, a little history of the company, and then we'll all go for a tour around the property, around the facility, and then we will end up back in here where you're at for the presentation. Miss anything? That's good. All right. Thank you.
Hello, Kalama. Okay, so yeah, the I-5 traffic, that noise is impressive. Forget about that. The mill used to be loud at our house. Now we don't even hear it. It's the traffic. Although if you're right by the mill, you can hear it. Okay. So we're going to have about 15 minutes here where we'll talk a little bit briefly about our company history, the history of timber framing, how it evolved, and then we'll get into a tour. And after the tour, we're going to talk about home plans, timber home plans, and we're actually going to need a volunteer for a choose your own adventure timber home plan. Is there anyone here who's thinking about building in the future? Sean? Okay. So, and we'll take one volunteer. We'll walk them through the choices. There's 3 choices. And as we're doing this, keep in track of your own head what choices we go through, because then we will just go find your plan where you would have ended up with the choices you would have made. Okay? All right. So, first thing we're going to do is we have this book. You can win if you can guess how old that log on the back of that log truck there is. You came in.
Is that fir or cedar?
It's fir.
Shout it out.
Yeah.
300 years.
300 years. Six years? 600. Okay.
250?
250? Okay. Anyone else care to guess?
230.
230. 230, 740. 1,000? 800. Okay. And back there, I didn't hear that one. 230. 230. We had two 230s. 500. 700. 600. 350. 550. You hit it right on the nose. 350.
Oh, that is so
Way
great.
to go, kid.
Really? That was, I'm counting on the ring.
So, you got one there?
This is for you. Your name is Kate?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Don't let your mom and dad read it.
Mom's pretty excited.
Okay. So, lots of good ideas in there, and I'll give you guys a little bit glimpse of what else that it holds later here as well. Okay, moving on here. Speaking of old, I probably look a little bit older than that picture. So that's me and my wife when we had 3 children. And it was a little prior to that, we had started a company, Aero Construction, and we had been in business a few years. We went and lived in Finland and Sweden in the year 2000. We came back, I continued framing, and at one point, the client asked me to do some timber framing, just kind of a little porch thing. And I said, well, timber framing, what is that? And so he kind of talked and waved his arms, and I said, well, let me think about it. And so I went to the library that night and found some books on it. I had a couple books and kind of just fell in love with it. And then from there, the law of attraction took over, I think. And it's been a really, really fun way to make a living. And now we'll talk about the evolution of timber framing, very briefly here. But so, and then it came to the Wild West before that. So using wood is super old. Howdy, sir. Grab a seat anywhere. Right on. Super old. Around the world, it started getting more developed and the buildings a little more complex about the same time. This was, the third, so 300, the 380. And here's one that's a little more recent. Me and my wife took a trip to Germany, and there's a lot of old timber framing in Germany. That's kind of where, for whatever reason, there's a lot of development and society kind of had these booms there for whatever reason. This system is, you see a lot of triangles and bracing and webs, and that looks like today's modern truss that is figured out with computers and engineering and gang plates. And so with Dead Reckoning, they use triangles and the whole works to, so it's really fascinating to go back there to see the old building that they did just through hard-earned knowledge. And then that brings us a little closer to today, the Wild Wild West. And three things happened about the time of the Louisiana Purchase and the westward expansion that just about killed timber framing and made the western expansion doable because they went fast. What do you suppose those three elements were that allowed the West the shanty towns to be thrown up? And then timber framing, because the shanty towns are so thrown up so quickly, it's a faster construction method. What do you suppose those three factors are that allowed that to happen?
Availability.
Gold rush, wood was available.
That's why I said availability.
What was that? Railroad? Sean, you got a guess?
I don't.
Okay,
Power line.
power line. Almost, kind of. So railroad, yes.
Power?
Power is the key word. Steam and now they get figured out water, steam, whatever to do so they could saw the lumber effectively. Before it was with the handsaw, whatever. You didn't make 2x4s, that just. And then manufactured nails, mass producing. All three of those combined to bring the westward expansion fast. And then so this, this is a little bit later than these pictures here, a little bit way later than the Wild West, but still the 2x4 studs in the walls. The balloon framing you see right here doesn't happen anymore. These studs would be a shorter wall right here. Oops, let's go pan. So right here, this would just be a short wall with the deck framed on top. This is called balloon framing. It goes all the way up. Platform framing is a shorter wall with the floor sitting on top. But even here, you'll notice the triangles. And all the angle bracing here, some of that was temporary, but triangles have been part of building forever because that's where you get rigidity and strength. And then today, here we are. We've got the beams like the old pictures. You see a little triangle here. That's sometimes, a lot of times we'll try to include aesthetics with the triangular bracing so it looks elegant and beautiful as well. And then another thing that's doing that bracing today is just the plywood. That provides rigidity. And so that's where today most of timber framing is done is a combination of exposed beams where it matters, where it has an impact, how it influences the look and feel, along with different building methods, be it the stud framing like you see here, or block or concrete, ICFs. We've done a lot of different things. Okay, so what are you hoping to leave with? What makes tonight good for you? And then we'll cover that in the Q&A if we don't cover it in the presentation. Yeah, anything particular you're hoping to learn tonight? Okay. Okay, got that. Next, what's you, ma'am?
Well, we plan on building once we move Battleground, so
Okay,
it's something I'm interested in.
okay. So just kind of a general
I saw the
curiosity.
pool house and went,
Mhm.
back in, I don't know, off 299.
Okay.
Pool house, do you remember the pool house?
Uh,
Yeah, the timber pool, the pool. With the structure above the pool,
for
our house.
our house, you've been there or?
Yeah.
Okay, so now you know Christine?
Yeah.
And how is that?
I used to work with you.
Alzheimer's is setting in.
Okay,
Okay.
and your name?
Mine, with the Northwestern County. I used to be.
Oh, Northwest, okay, I was thinking it directly for me, okay, no, okay, yeah, okay,
No
right.
wonder he's trying to play.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, and how do you spell that?
MAI.
M-A-I, okay. So you're thinking about maybe building in the future, and this might be good, something to do, might not
It's
be.
in Battleground, but
Mm-hmm,
all of the kids have to move north, time to move north.
okay, all righty. So he's gathering information.
It was mostly me, so. He thought you worked for Arrow Timber.
Well, I was telling Jamie, we knew each other from sitting in the principal's office.
Oh, right.
You bet. Anybody else?
There's some pros and cons of frame construction versus timber.
So conventional construction versus
Yeah.
timber?
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty, you had something?
How do you bend those?
How do you make the
Cut it or
curve?
do you-
How do you bend the wood?
I'm curious to see like from log to use
Okay,
process.
the process. Already?
Cost comparison, my kids are interested in my inheritance, so
Okay,
cost comparison is important to them.
okay.
Don't get all of it.
Yep. How long does it take? Okay. We good? All right. So if we don't cover it, we'll hit it at the end. Alrighty, so Greg is going to take over with the tour real quickly here. Before he kicks off, just in the interest of helping him, because some of the stuff is a little bit hard to see, I'm going to go over a few things, then you'll take off with Greg out that door. You'll make a loop, kind of see the sawmill, see the different things, part of the process, and we'll go through there. So part of the process is it starts with a brainstorm with whatever you've got in mind, just kind of testing ideas and exploring the edges of what might work for people. It's a 30 to 90 minute session we set aside to kind of a discovery process. And if it looks like we're a good fit, then it goes to sketches and ideas, and then the 3D modeling, and then building documents, and then from there it goes to the mill, then into the shop here, and then there's kind of just regular construction logistics during the normal framing stage is when that happens.
Just a comment. My mom made a 3D paper house
Mm-hmm.
just to see on. I'm pretty sure like how she might like
Yeah.
set out.
Your mom's kind of a smart lady. That's very, very good to do that. So a little quick rabbit hole. I was doing a home project, and so this was what, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I'd done framing and visualized space and all these different things, and seen blueprints, seen things built, visualized things, drew them by hand into 3D drafting. So back and forth. I mean, I know my way down the street, right? And on my own home, I thought, well, this is pretty straightforward. I think I got it covered. I went ahead with this project and just kind of getting started, and a friend come by and says, hey, Bert, what are you doing? And so I started telling him about it, and then I realized that, oh, I've got some holes here I didn't think about. And so the saying that the cobbler's children go without shoes happens. But I did take my own advice, and it's kind of like you're doing the 3D model. And I mean, like, I could see stuff and visualize it and all this, but putting it in the model, working it, looking at it kind of from a far view, it saved my bacon. Got a much better remodel because of it. Yeah. Okay, so we're talking about one of the things you're going to see, this big chunk of wood here. You might have to slide that little clipboard off to the side, but you're going to see a big check in that piece of wood. And so that piece of wood is what you call box hard. The beam sits like this, and when wood shrinks, it shrinks around the racetrack much more than perpendicular to the racetrack. So like right in the very center, you got 1 or 2 units of shrinkage. And out here, you have 25, 30, 50, sometimes 80 growth rings, right? Units of shrinkage, however you want to look at it. And it's a closed ring, so there's much more shrinkage on the outside. So somewhere, it's got to come apart. And when that does, you have one face of the beam that checks. And then right inside the office, there's another chunk of wood you'll look at. And this piece of wood has been cut off to the side of the heart. It's called free of heart timber. And so there is no closed circle, so that when it shrinks, if you look closely, you'll notice that it actually is kind of pulled back on the corners, because these growth rings they've kind of pulled those corners back. So it just distorts a little bit, but it behaves overall. It's not trying to go anywhere. It's really kind of minding its P's and Q's and not causing problems. And then here's an example of two different types of beams here. One is vertical grain, the other is Cortison, and one is stronger than the other one's weaker. So which is which? Which one's stronger and which one's weaker? What's that? Which one's Cortison? This one's vertical grain. So here's a Cortison, yeah?
I'm guessing Cortison because just the way of, I'm guessing you're gonna place it down, so all the weight's pushing down.
Yeah, it's kind of how the
If you're
grain
going like that, the wood's probably gonna push.
push that way. Thank you. Thanks for the question or the comment. So this is the stronger one. And if you buy a wood hammer and you want to save your elbow, the wood hammer will save vibrations in your elbow. And make sure that your hammer looks like this here. The claw's going that way, as opposed to something like this. When I've used hammers, eventually you start to figure it out that the ones like this here break way easy, and these ones hold up a lot. Now in timber framing, when we have to worry about shrinkage, this beam, because it's shrinking along the grain, is going to have a lot less shrinkage than that one. So one place that we look for that is in orienting a king post. The king post sandwiches this pressure there, and shrinkage can have, you want to kind of pay attention to it. And then here is, of course, the box hard example. And then here's where it's neither Cortison nor vertical grain. And what happens here, it shrinks the most right there, lots of units of shrinkage, little unit of shrinkage. So these corners pull in, and it kind of becomes a parallelogram. And that's just how wood behaves. Alrighty, so you'll see that. There's 2 blocks of wood there. There's joinery and different things Greg's gonna point out, but you can leave your stuff in the chairs. And you will be walking outside if it's not that cold out. But no, get back here and continue. Yeah. Good. Are the cookies good? You bet. So, timber framing, part of your journey, you just had a small journey over to the mill. And journey seems like an overly dramatic word, but it really conveys a lot because we're all trying to move from point A to point B in some way, shape, or form. Forward direction is good. And we're glad to be part of your journey tonight here in helping you with just information and however it unfolds. And your energy and your presence here is helping us too on our journey. Before we get into Choose Your Own Adventure floor plan book, I'm just going to give you a little insight to partly process, partly kind of how we tick, and really what's the kernel of how the book even came to be. And that is, we'll start by looking at these two pictures, and what differences do you spot? A lot of wood on the second one, correct? And specifically, what is it? You were Lucas's age?
Yeah, actually, it was
Okay.
They were in the principal's office together twice.
Principal's office together. Okay. And your first name?
James.
James. Okay. James, do you see anything specific aside from lots of added wood?
They got decorative, kind of like cover going over the floor.
Yeah, decorative cover going on there. That's added, correct?
It looks bigger, just looks a lot bigger.
Okay, so it looks bigger.
They also got some masonry type bases.
Yep. Masonry base is added. Mm-hmm. So the posts are a lot bigger compared to the first one.
Oh, and the second one would be like the supports on those right beneath the actual roof. They actually go down.
Yes, right here, the gutter line.
Yeah, right beneath.
Oh, yeah, the supports. Oh, yeah, these ones here. Yeah,
And all the ones on that front side, they go down the block.
and there are some. Yep, so they're a lot bigger. And yep, the knee braces. Those are some.
The plants, but also this one is a lot darker colors with the roof and the
Mm-hmm.
lighter.
The coloring, the darker coloring, in the roof. Yeah, Kate. What's that? Above the windows is more wood. So here, here, and here, correct? Something else about windows to notice. Look at the center window between the two of them.
They're a lot. The middle one's small.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Are all
So-
the windows the same size and just the center one's been changed, or,
Correct. Yep.
and that's just to add the,
It allowed to, if you would imagine this right here,
yeah.
without making that bigger, you end up with such a shallow pitch. It doesn't give you a lot of canvas to work with, so to speak.
There's a lighter. There's wood around the trim around the windows.
Trim around the windows. Yep. And then
the
this,
middle window's a lot higher.
it's the same height, but the bottom is higher. Yep. That allowed for the steeper roof. And then there's also differences, and this is something we do in our 3D model beyond timbers, is a shake on the gables. And the color, of course, we test colors in the 3D model, and we focus on the timbers, but colors, textures, the whole 9 yards goes into it. There's one other thing that has not been noticed yet. This way? The picture might be just cut off. It would, yeah. Look, he's thinking the structure went out to the right further, but I think the picture's just, the angle is a little bit cut off.
I don't know if
James?
it's a different angle, but if you look on the left picture, center window, the roof line of it, looks like it has a vent just past the top of the roof. If you go to the right one,
What on the roof? Oh, a vent. You might be just hidden, and it's actually, you're kind of close, because this gable, what we did here, so one of the big things with yes, with Kelly, right? So Kelly got it. This is wider. The reason it's wider is with any design, any building, it's nice to have a focal point that catches your eye right at first, draws you in. So you need something that stands out. This does a lot of heavy lifting, but when we take these peaks that are all the same, and we built out the wall, created just kind of some false hollows there, and then that peak got bigger. Now, and then with the timbers, we emphasized it further. This has a complete like truss setup. The rest just have corbels. So with a 1, 2, 3 punch, 1, 2, bigger, and a 3. Now we have beauty. That just resonates, and that is kind of the plan tweaking or plan tuning, we call it, kind of like that. Whether it's a remodel or a blueprint, preparing the canvas, and then doing the timber design. That's kind of been, what we wake up to do. And that's what you see kind of sprinkled throughout the book that Kate just won, as well as this next book. That's kind of the heart and soul of what we do and how we do it. Most important process of what we do. The rest is supporting, and it's all needed. And this is the engine. Make sense? Cool. Alrighty, so we're gonna get into this. If you volunteer, so Jason and Christina, I said people can volunteer if they're thinking about building a home. There's a Choose Your Own Adventure timber floor plan book here. And you don't have to get up and do cartwheels or nothing like that. It's just making choices from where you're sitting. And if you're not a volunteer, keep track of the choices you would make, and then we'll find where you would land in this little adventure, okay? Oop. I have to switch pages here. We gotta go.
Yeah, I think we've been volunteered, but I'm not sure for what. I am trying to follow up.
What's that?
I said, I know I'm being volunteered, but I'm not sure for what.
Okay, so here we are. Acknowledgements. No, I have my wife here. She's been a great support. Family. There's been workers that have no longer with us. They've moved on, but they've helped add to our story. Past clients, present clients, and even future clients all help us move forward, give us motivation, and I kind of had a feeling you'd be here, so thank you. And so the preface as well as the intro, so this is only one chapter. Chapter 2 is getting released soon. We're releasing it chapter by chapter just so we get it out sooner. The preface and the intro basically are talking about helping people get their mind cast into the future, making these choices, understanding the big choices, which will then simplify the little choices. And really, if you're going to take one sentence out of tonight, it's learning how to say no is like the father of strategy. What are you going to say no to? You can't have it all. If you can't say no, you're going to be just pulled in this direction because you want this, and pulled in that direction because you want that, and just forever kind of living in this anxiety-filled existence. Okay, so that's kind of the main message there, and we're going to give you some real-life choices, a way to really kind of cast your mind into the future. Now, there's only 3 choices. Really, really simple. And so you could take this Choose Your Own Adventure thing here, and you could be done in 5 minutes. Boom. It took forever to write, almost. In fact, it's debatable. This first book might have even been less work than this one. So we had to get all the choices lined up for size and style, and it really was a lot of work. And Taylor, he did a lot of heavy lifting, the guy back in the blue coat there. It's been, we've got some good chemistry, and without him, this wouldn't have happened. Okay, so that's 3 choices. Now, if you really want to, who's gonna volunteer? Any volunteers? I need somebody to make choices.
So they're working through their.
Yeah, you're gonna make,
plan that they're gonna choose.
yeah, and there's just 3 simple choices to make, and I need a volunteer.
Get a volunteer. Oh, okay, I'll volunteer.
Okay,
I guess better get the book out. Oh, okay.
okay, let's see, we got a,
That's fine.
okay, all right. So we got Jason and Christina. All right. All righty, so now, do you want to take away, if you want to take away the most, we can have a friendly little wager, okay? So have you ever, and I'm speaking to all of you now, when you make kind of a big choice, like a real big choice, and you sign on the dotted line or you write the check, and then a little bit later you just kind of go, you kind of wonder like, did I do the right thing? Anyone done that before? Okay, so that is, it can be that buyer's remorse that you feel, that kind of that subconscious gut feeling you get. That can be just the death throes of buyer's remorse, just a little bit of worry that you've done a fine decision. It's just natural to kind of wonder. Or it could be shining a flashlight on some serious thinking errors, okay? And that generally happens when you've got some skin in the game. If you're making decisions with no consequences, then the decisions are easy and you're not really bringing your mind to the future. A really extreme example of that is the bride or the groom that just poing on the wedding day, or maybe right before going up the aisle, I'm out of here. Well, their mind has been brought closer to the future where they weren't there before. And so then now they're seeing it and they're like, I'm just not ready for this. And boom, away they go. So we're gonna kind of play that same game here. Okay, ready, Jason? Okay, so we're gonna go through these choices, 3 simple choices, and you're gonna make the choices, and then if your future home build follows these 3 choices, you get to keep your money. If they don't follow the choices, then you'll be sending me a check. And now here's the part. Now we could go $10, but that might not be enough of a bite. If we go 100,000, maybe that's a little too heavy. So 100.
Wait, what am I winning here though?
Here's what you're winning. Here's what you're winning. And it's actually worth it, because with a little bit of before you make these decisions, you are getting real insight into what you actually want. Even if you answer wrong, you're still with a little bit of.
Okay, so there are wrong answers.
Well, I mean, but I don't want it to hurt that much that you say, no, I chose X, Y, and Z, therefore this is what we're building, because I don't want to send Bert a check for $100,000.
Well, you know the women make all the decisions.
Okay, well.
I'm going to make them, and I'll probably owe her money.
Okay, so, and really, let's just pick a number. Say 100, or 100 is probably $100. Not too painful, but enough to make you think, right?
Skin in the game.
Skin in the game. And what you're going to get out of it is worth way more than $100. All right. Good.
Very
Thanks for
brave.
being.
Very brave.
All right.
That sounds like a lot of money.
Okay, so now we'll have the audience help you out here. And like we said, learning to say no is the father of strategy. So let's just kind of brainstorm here. I've got the cheat card here. What will you say no to if you do a small home?
A small home?
A small home, we're going to do a small home and a big home, kind of what you say no to, and we don't have to cover medium because that's just a mix. So when you're choosing to build a small home, what are you saying no to? Like, well, I'm building a small home, therefore I can't have X, therefore I can't have Y. What are some things that?
The kids coming home.
So room for the kids coming
Nobody's gonna
home.
move in.
Yeah. Well, that might be.
Storage.
Yes, exactly.
You're saying no to storage.
Yeah.
No to storage, that's next to storage. What else?
The bonus room, and, yeah.
Bonus room,
Yeah.
Yeah.
a smaller kitchen, or you're saying no to a big kitchen and space to entertain. Probably not gonna have an exercise room, probably not a home theater,
Yeah.
a gym, guest quarters, the list goes on and on. Okay. Yeah, that kind of covers the big things there, okay? So now let's move on to, if you choose big, what are you saying no to?
Savings.
Savings, utility bill, property taxes, you're on it, keep going. What else?
Cleaning.
Cleaning, uh-huh.
Yeah, you may choose some lower furnishings and.
Oh, so you might go cheaper material because you have so much of it, yep. Homeowners insurance. So the only other things I have on there, great job, is with heating and cooling, so the utilities, but what was my little train of thought? Oh, time and freedom. The more stuff you have, the more it takes, whether it's someone else cleaning it, but you still gotta manage it. There's that image of it. And you might be saying no to, well, like some people, carbon footprint is a big deal. And that's just basically saying how they value waste. And we all have a line where we don't like to waste things. And so for my wife and myself, we've got a 2,600 square foot home. And it doesn't feel too big, like it's like way too much for us. If it was 5,000, it's just the two of us, most of the time it's gonna feel like a little bit of waste. So whether it's carbon footprint or just heating and cooling or just simply too big, you're saying no to that feeling of like being efficient.
What about investment? When we have property and stuff like that, if you don't build a big enough house,
Mhm.
you're not getting the name on the bucket.
Yeah, there's investment. If you got property that's worth a lot and you build a tiny little cabin, it's not gonna reflect the value you could get out of it. So that's another,
No, and then there's like, we just built an entire second floor. Do we go up there? We don't have kids at home anymore.
Okay.
So, but
yeah. So may just share this, they built the whole second floor and now they don't have kids and now it's kind of sitting empty.
but
not-
the square foot price
Yeah,
on that top
that's
story
Yeah.
is incredibly cheap.
The square foot price, incredibly cheap, raises the value of the whole real estate piece. So there's the ROI side of things too, to consider. Okay. Do you need more help, Jason, or are you ready to make your choice? Small, medium, large?
I thought medium was off the table.
No, medium is just a mix. I mean, we don't have to cover that because it's a mix of both.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's square?
Okay, your square footage, yeah, let me,
What's
so
square footage of a small?
as we've defined it in this book, so your the smallest one we have is 1,200. And the kind of, I think we got one that cheats up into 2,200. So that's kind of like getting borderline. And then 3,500 is the next cutoff.
Gotcha.
And then 35 and up is
Yeah,
large.
I would think, I would think in the.
$100 on the line now.
I would
just-
think in the price point
Yeah,
of somebody who wants a timber frame home, they're not buying it for.
Right,
bargain. They're not
right.
buying it for a value. I would think, when you size in the cost of utilities to get there, the cost of planning, the cost of all the things.
everything, all the comments is going to repeat for the online audience.
Go big.
So Jason's saying go big because you're going to have,
Square foot cost. Yeah.
what's that?
Diminishing square foot cost.
Yeah, it reduces your square foot cost.
And then the time involved in just permitting, as we know in Washington.
The time involved, the resources, getting the thing started, getting your value back out of it for the market with a timber frame.
Septic engineer doesn't care how big or small it is.
Yeah, septic, there's a lot of
Well,
utility.
they spend the same amount of time
Yeah.
digging holes and writing papers, it seems like.
Yeah,
The size of your system is definitely bedroom dependent.
it is, yeah.
But the cost of the engineering.
Yes.
Right, the cost of the engineering, there's a lot of
Yeah.
cost.
This can be a minimum, like $4,000, it might go up to $5,000. So it's like.
So Jason is saying that the cost of a lot of things such as engineering for septic is the same, whether it's small or large. And for what they're going for, all in, easy decision, go big.
And I think more people right now are cohabitating than ever.
Okay. And then big facilitates cohabitation and also aging in place, you know, for that, you know, the kids can live there. So we are go big. All righty, go big or go home. You nailed
It
it.
doesn't fit my size right now, but yeah.
Okay, it's gonna take a little bit to load. Does anyone have a joke to share?
Not a joke, but I have something to say about a big house.
Okay,
There's one thing. If you want a house right now, if you need it right now, you want to go more towards the small.
okay, if you're in a hurry, you want small.
What about a home that grow? Like you buy a piece of property, you put up a little 2-bedroom, 1 bath with a small kitchen and then open to expand.
Okay, so this is
Something like that.
a home that would grow, so you'd kind of have planned phases.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
The mother-in-law first.
She doesn't make it to the.
You put it way in the back. Build your big house.
Okay,
But that goes the opposite way too. When the kids move out, you better go small because they'll move back in.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at sailboats.
Exactly.
all righty, so we're on our next decision. So we're gonna get some help again. So you've got a single level, a basement, and a multi-level. Let's start with single, and let Jason out. What will he be saying no to if he chooses a single level?
Stairs.
Stairs. Quiet?
I'm not sure. Sprinkle.
Bigger footprint.
Oh, single, oh, just, I'm not quite following things.
Bouncing
Oh,
upstairs.
You don't have to listen to the upstairs.
Oh, yeah, you're saying that's yep. In this case, that's what you're saying yes to with the, we're looking for the negatives just because yes. Okay, just let me clarify that. The reason we're kind of looking for the negatives here is those are the things that hinder our decisions. The things that we get, they're home and they're in our pocket and we own them and it's the things that we kind of want, but they're the ones that kind of distract us from good decision making.
So
I mean, you saying no to with a Rambler is what we're looking for the negatives of a Rambler. I mean, it limits your lot choice.
Lot choice, you can either pay a lot for the lot or,
Square footage wise, you're only gonna cover so much, so.
yeah.
Um,
Mhm. So a bigger footprint, you're saying no to a small footprint.
Correct. You're saying no to a grand curb appeal, you know, tall
Mhm.
arches.
Yeah, certain
So
styles,
You're saying no to many styles.
many styles, grand curb appeal.
If you have kids, you might have a bit more fun if they have stairs.
Kids, yeah, they're gonna take away fun from the kids. They can't throw toys from the top balcony.
Well, they also, it might hurt them, but if you have like a down space,
Mm-hmm.
some people like going down in on pillows or something.
On pillows on the stairway.
If you have
Okay.
laundry basket.
Yes, Kate?
You guys know how to fun.
You did it on a mattress? So if you don't do a single level, you don't get a stairway.
Right.
Boo, yes, thumbs down. Okay, the only other thing that, I think we've pretty much got it covered, aside from the fact that
Saying no to savings, I suppose.
Higher-
savings, yeah, because the roof costs more than another level. Yeah, it's not as drastic as you think, but there is a factor there. Okay, so multi-level. So going for the 2-story multi-level, what are some things that you're saying no to?
Accessibility.
Accessibility, yep.
No stomping on the roof.
So no stomping on the roof, but that's a ceiling, yeah. That's actually a plus fact. You're saying no to overhead noise a lot of times, depending on the layout. You know, where you got noise up, like a basement is more favorable than for like a kids and rowdy and running. The basement is more favorable than upstairs because upstairs.
Yeah, that's over garage area.
If you put it over the garage, but it still reverberates through the wood.
You can't, because like we did skim coat of
Oh.
that high density foam.
Okay,
You
it just,
have a whole
high density
lot-
foam just sucked up the noise when it was over the garage,
Between the two levels.
between the two levels. There is actually, so we lived in Finland and I worked there. First I was Mr. Mom, my wife taught English. Then in the summer, I was working in the construction industry and they were building apartments and they had a floor system that would survive the basketball test. Dunk, dunk, dunk. And it wasn't spray foam, but they had some dense foam. It was a little complex. I don't know that it'd be worth going through all that, but you can build a real quiet floor. Okay, so you'd be saying no possibly to noise overhead.
And aging.
Aging in place, yeah. And we were had that styles in here, certain styles, if you're going for a cozy bungalow or a rambler or like a rustic ranch style that spreads out, that's really tough to capture certain styles. And then floor plan simplicity. This is something that I don't think a lot of people are aware of, but when you have a 2-story or even with the basement, when you have a stairway involved, it's a little bit like playing Tetris when you're designing the floor plan because your changes downstairs kind of move the stairway and then it creates a chain reaction of parts and pieces moving up top. So that's something you're saying no to. And then with the basement, we've kind of covered some of it, but there's one thing with the basement for sure that you're saying no to.
Sunlight.
Sunlight, yep, big one right there.
Yeah, it's a different.
Yeah, and then the foundation, the hassle-free foundation and, no mold problems or threat of mold or that kind of thing. That's what you're saying no to if you choose a basement. Okay, so we've got it single, basement, or multi.
I'm a rambler, man.
Okay.
I like the look of a big house, but I like living in a rambler.
Okay, so we are looking at a single level.
I'm sure that's the wrong choice, but big lot.
Okay, so we are looking at big single level.
I guess that does good better there.
Oh yeah, we got a plan for it.
Whoa.
Yeah.
This isn't where you land. You still got one more choice. Alrighty. So no starter home, you're going big. When it loads up, we'll get on to the next choice, which I don't know if you can read that, that's a little blurry, but it's about what we've talked about with the style. So we will load up here.
So when you guys are designing a rambler like that, are you choosing, you look at this photo, it looks like a lower pitch roof.
Mm-hmm.
Is that it's always the choice, makes the walls too short looking if it's a high pitch?
Not necessarily.
If
there's-
there's enough dormers and
Mhm.
something, but dormers.
So there's one, within the styles, let's see if yeah. Okay, so within the styles, this will take a little bit loaded up. You kind of bookend it. There's modern and there's rustic. And then in between, for the simplicity of this book, we've lumped all the other styles which are identified in the original book, the first book. We've lumped them into transitional. So that would include craftsman, classic, traditional. What else we got? But anyway, there's homes we've done that are like a big home with a basement under it, so 5,000-6,000 square foot, and it kind of has that higher feel. In fact, we have it under the Euro category. And Euro is steep, kind of curved beams and kind of more ornate. There's different things with that. So, with rustic style, we won't read through all of this. Taylor put this together, great job, defines it, kind of some different things with whatever, and then he just summarizes the no. So you're saying no to factory new, mass produced, high gloss, delicate, spindly, or ornate, smooth, sterile surfaces. That type of thing is what you're saying no to with rustic. And then if we go to the next one, I'm going to come back to transitional because it's just a mix of the two. So it's, with modern, again, kind of defines it. A lot of times crisp, clean, airy are words that are associated with modern. And there's very, very decluttered. So that's like here. What it isn't is your no clutters, and even the driftwood things and the little quotes and the whatever. You can have a few of them, but man, if you do too many, you're killing that modern vibe, right? And even the trim, a lot of times the trim is even non-existent, to where you don't even see it.
A return.
Just a return and boom. And so you're saying no to excess. I mean, you're just really trying to, even the building, the shape itself, if you kind of like how things curve and twist or kind of meander, there's a lot of different styles. Modern, and by the essence of it, is very boxy, simple, clean, and that's just kind of what you get. Here it's gotten a little bit more complex, so it's not just a hard and fast rule. And then one other thing with modern, if you do something that's kind of fun and surprising in the midst of everything, that has modern stamped all over it. So you're saying no to a lot of extras. And then of course, transitional is basically anything in between. And so you can take from here, take from there, and kind of mix and match your style. And I think realistically, nobody is like 100% into modern, 100% into rustic. I mean, you do. Like you'll get log cabins with rusty muskets and antlers and everything just super duper rustic. And you'll get some modern homes that don't even look like a home. They're so cutting edge with their shape and everything they do. But in general, most of us will skew rustic or modern or somewhere in the middle, so that this middle piece is really pieces of that plus some kind of mixed in between. Did I cover that well enough, Taylor? Okay. Ready for a choice? What do you want?
Oh, what do I want out of all of this?
Yeah.
It's like modern transition.
Yeah, it's set and setting really determines that. It's like where is this?
Okay.
For me,
You don't have property yet?
So at home, somewhere in the middle toward rustic style,
Okay.
but no musket.
No mustics, yeah.
Nothing rusty in the house.
What kind of countertops are you hoping for?
I have no idea.
No idea. Okay. Somehow I just get a feeling that you're going to wind up more towards rustic. I think rustic is.
Rustic,
that?
I like the
I like the
European.
cozy.
I like the curves. I like some stonework, but not too. So like you say, somewhere in the middle. It's not
Right.
all out.
And as we have the categories here, that it's not hardcore.
And I don't want it mistaken for a chiropractic office. It's
Right.
just Sometimes what they're starting to.
Yep. It seems like rustic is the right choice. What do you guys think?
For me.
Yeah. All right.
Get your $100.
All righty.
How many people pick modern?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot. And in fact, I'll tell you a little story. 2010, maybe, I was, we'd been in business. The timber framing had kicked off and we were kind of going strong with it. And I could see the style tipping towards modern, just with different things. I was like, I might be out of a job if this continues. And then what I discovered was that creativity knows no limits, and that goes for all of us. And that has actually been super fun to come up with timber designs that fit modern. It's kind of amazing. It's the second favorite category, actually.
Which first?
Rustic. Yeah, I mean, come on. That's the whole thing with timber framing, right? Okay, so we are at big single rustic. Okay, so this is, each one of you will end up with your selection. It's 2 pages. You've got pictures. You have a little story that goes along with it. It might match your story, it might not, but you will have a story associated with your choices. Here's the layout with the color-coded public, private, and outdoor space. And then the next page, this one to load up. And then the next page will have kind of a closer up of the floor plan, a little quote, plus your bullets of what's going on. So this particular home has a big porte cochere, and we'll back out, you'll see the picture. It definitely has got a steeper pitch. And when, one little cue on the pitch, in fact, on our board in the office, it's the mid, in fact, I'll show it to you here. There's one home that we raised the pitch because they wanted a little more rustic influence. And you go too shallow and it's, you can get it, but it's kind of more ranch. But if you're thinking like any type of lodge, mountain, northwest feel, steeper pitch is good. So this here, the porte cochere, big porte cochere, this goes right straight down the entry. And these trusses just go all the way front to back. You just go in and wham, you see it all. And then the timbers, the big covered patio, this is kind of cool. This is a natural boulder, so that just a huge boulder in the corner. So it kind of starts to bring you out to the landscaping, kind of a transition from, and there were the posts are scribe fit, and then they're epoxy connected. Really kind of a fun way to do things. The jacuzzi hasn't happened yet. That was something that was planned, hasn't happened yet. Hot tub, and there was going to be a cover over it that didn't block the view, so it's really a unique cover. And then there's some beams that go down the hallway, and maybe some beams in the master bedroom. But aside from that, that's kind of where they put their money on that one. And then I'm going to go back out just so you can see. This is, I think we're at 812. I mean, it's a decent slope on that. And you can see it here. There's the porte cochere with this has the double garage. You wouldn't have to have that, but one of the trade-offs with the large single level is that you're going to get your steps in. Things are spread out. That's not all bad. It's sitting and new smoking and all that, right?
Flat ground's better than a film.
Yeah, that is true. Easier. That is true. Okay, so we have, for the record, we've got a large single level rustic. I'm gonna watch, see where you land. We're good. You've done great. Thanks for participating. And so, anyone else that want to see where's the search bar here?
I feel like the odd man out when I talk about this because nobody likes ramblers, it seems like.
No, we see them all the time. Yeah.
Because nobody drives around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it's really a good deal. See, where's my search bar, Taylor?
Just click, touch anywhere. It should actually pop up.
There we go, boom. Okay. All right. So, anybody else? Did they follow the choices? Sean?
Sure. I'll go.
Do you remember what you chose
I don't.
as your? Yeah. We don't. If you didn't follow it, we can do it. Or if there's someone else who was kind of following along and was thinking I would definitely go small or medium or whatever. Oh, you, back there, you volunteered. What were your,
I was gonna go medium, about, 2,000 to 3,000 square feet
2,000 to 3,000, so that'd be medium, yeah.
and 2-story.
2-story, and then
Rustic.
rustic, okay. We'll wait for it to live. Okay, medium, 2-story rustic. Okay, we can actually get a tour of this place. It's nothing wrong with it. So really great people to work for. One of his quotes that I took away from, I mean, I actually kind of based this little story, it's not totally true, but off of the experience with him. And one of his quotes was, hire who you trust and trust who you hire. When they say, I don't know if I'd do that, because, and I thought that was kind of a cool quote. And so this is actually one that stylistically didn't work for where they wanted to go. Part of their inspiration was the big 2-story vault with the timbers and the hammer beam truss all going through. And we met out there, worked with an architect I know, this is a while ago. And we went through all the pros and cons, what they wanted, the views, the winds, the situation, right on site. And for the square footage and the way that everything stacked up, it was just going to push them beyond the square footage they wanted to have that big high vault, because the rooms upstairs kind of had to stack over the great room. And what we ended up doing, which is pretty brilliant, is they have steps down. This is not good for aging in place, but it's really a neat feel. You come in and you got steps that kind of bring you through this galley into the kitchen. And over here is upstairs, and then you got a great room. So this ceiling here is like 11 foot tall, and it's flat. And he gave up, he's seen it all, and we kind of talked about what we could do. So we have these big, fat, wide beams up on the ceiling that have these kind of low sloping knee braces with it. And it's really reminiscent of like Timberline Lodge, like if you go in the dining room, with that big, fat ceiling beams. And so he got kind of that feel that he was wanting from the soaring high thing, just changed a little bit. And that was a trade-off he made, so he didn't have to go beyond 3,500 square feet or whatever his cutoff was. So that was that. And then here's the second page, kind of a big outdoor area living. And then here's the floor plan, a little easier to see. And this outdoor living, these walls they disappear. Those doors, they all fold up. So when you entertain here, you've got kind of a lot of flow and space. Indoor, outdoor thing. How about you, Kelly? What were your choices?
Probably upper end of small,
Okay.
and I'd like to see modern.
Okay, modern.
And what was the last choice?
You got your single level, 2-story or basement. Some of that depends on property.
Yeah, like if there's a single with a walkout basement, otherwise.
Okay, that would be just the basement one, yep. So we'll put you there. Once it's unloading. Okay.
Or transition. Oh, you
Well,
said
how about-
one in a second, so yeah, we'll go.
Okay. You want to go transitional thing?
You need more transition.
I'll do transition.
Okay. We'll go, we haven't done that one yet, so we'll just do that one first. I think the small one there is going to be too small for you. I don't know what the transitional one is. I don't have them mapped out. I mean, there's 27 choices and it took a bit. Okay, well this is actually the home we designed for my son. This is kind of neat in that the downstairs is just a duplex. I mean, so for someone, especially starting out, it makes it a nice way to get in the game of this high real estate environment, right? So this is really cute, really straight boxy thing. You might, like the modern farmhouse, the white is all in these days, and pretty soon it's going to be out. In fact, if somebody wants a business idea, if they want to start gearing up to fix those 412 shed roofs that are just janky as all get out, but they kind of scratch the modern itch these days, ham-handed approach. If you do a shed roof, you do a modern, do not do a 412. I know the roofers like it because that's what they guarantee for asphalt, blah, blah, blah. But it just creates a cliff, just this big forehead, and 212 or lower for that. Okay,
Like
so the,
with parapet wall and TPO type.
oh, that little flat roof is a little different. I'm talking about the shed roofs with the,
Okay, I see them going multiple directions.
yeah,
Modern style,
but the 412, yeah, and I don't know what the fix is gonna be when people finally get sick of it, but I know there's gonna be, mark my words,
Yeah. this-
I'll go down on that. Yep. Okay. And then, so the second page just shows a little bit more. And this one has it's very simplified. In fact, it's got a detached garage just for storage. And there's no access through the house. And that simplifies it. It allows you to use this space better. And you still got the storage and whatnot, so.
So point out the timber aspect.
Oh, timber aspects, yes. All right, so what we had was, go back one. Yeah. So there's timber aspects happen here in the entry, right here. There's a little roof extended over here. My son chose not to do it because he's minding his P's and Q's as far as investment. And but if you look at that whole side, this is a little bit lonely by creating that sideshow. It just is kind of, I mean, I would have done it, but of course I roll different than him. We're not different. But, and then this porch kind of has the same thing. You got your focal point, and you got kind of a little sitting area, and it expands out to just kind of fit the building and not be too big, not be too small. And then there's also, right on the inside here, from here to here, yeah. So right on the inside in the kitchen and dining, right off of that wall, there's a beam. And then there's kind of a vaulted area that goes this way, down that way, down that way. And the rafters are kind of tapered. This is a trick we'll do a lot of times. The tapered rafters because you want your weight to visually kind of feel balanced. And that's where small posts in a pavilion, that sort of thing, they really look awkward if you don't get them big enough. And that's where the stone looks so good, is because stone is, we know it's heavy and it's bigger. So then it kind of goes heavy, lighter, 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 lighter. See, beautiful. I mean, it's just, it lights up a lot of buttons. So that's the timbers on this one, and I'm going to just jump ahead. We had cost in here. This one here, I don't know. I don't know, Greg, what do you think? 35,000, 40,000 installed. That would be design, engineering, joinery, shipping, install, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, with the interior and all, it'd probably be pushing.
Okay. And then if we don't install it, that saves a lot, especially on smaller projects. Normally we figure 30%. 30% is the install cost on, but on smaller projects, it's definitely more than 30 because of all the, the mobilization and the pieces in there, but. Okay, I gotta erase it. No, I gotta switch out. Here we go. What is it, there here?
No, hit the pen.
Hit the pen again?
Not hit the X.
All right. I kind of need my help with this stuff. Okay, I think we have time for one more. Anyone interested? May?
I have a home plan I like,
Okay,
but it's 2-level. It has a master on both sides.
okay,
But everything was made more cost effective.
You bet. Okay.
Best bang for your buck, like, we put a,
and this is your current home?
Yeah.
Okay,
but I want to stay with the same home plan.
If-
build again,
when you
because
build
I
again.
love it.
okay, well, let's just see where we land, see how close it lands to.
Would definitely be, it's somewhere between transitional and rustic, and it would be, I think we're at 3,400 square feet or 3,500
Okay.
square feet.
Okay, so you're
But we're, 5-bedroom, 4-bath.
5 bedroom, 4
So
bath.
our rooms are a lot smaller,
Okay,
but we have 2 living rooms.
room's a lot smaller, 5 bedroom, 4 bath, 2 living rooms. How big is your garage?
It's the oversized, large.
Large door, so 2
So we
car.
could get a Dodge truck in
Okay.
each side,
hmm
so
Do we choose medium or large on that? Is there-
Might be large.
Okay, large, and you said transitional or maybe rustic?
somewhere between transitional and rustic. I
Okay.
kind of lean towards the rustic, but I do like the more contemporary
Okay.
lines of transitional, like having some
Okay.
more.
We are large. I'm gonna go with this one. Have a feel.
My
This-
house kind of looks like the one on page 8.
On page 8 in there? Okay. Anyway, so this is another project. You can see the front timbers. There's timbers in the back, timbers all through the kitchen here. And then they kind of bleed out through the hallways, and they have some in the basement, but just kind of not too much. One of the things that we do, and our clients follow the same pathway, is a lot of times you end up putting more timbers in, and then you call in the editor, you cut things back because it just gets to be too much. And then that's when you kind of hit that sweet spot. Okay, so we'll move on to the Q&A. And this, I guess I'll show you the picture of those. Yeah, there's the clear. This is 3 stories. This one has a basement, but so.
I'd have the basement if I weren't for the water.
Mhm. Yep.
Area.
Okay. All right, so this is complimentary, it's online, and I don't know we can get you, if you go to, we were gonna have a screenshot here of where is it there?
Right, no, it's not.
Yeah.
It is-
So right here, if you just go to arrowtimber.com. And wait for the pop-up. And then you leave your email in. And you'll get access to both books. And then when the chapter 2 comes out, you get notification, and then all the way through. So that's that there. Okay, moving into question and answers, Q&A. And I've got some slides prepared that deal with cost. That's something that's generally people are kind of curious about, what's the parameters. And in a real general sense, we like to be 30,000-ish. And then that's up to, over 600,000. I mean, there's projects that really have intricate modern beams and whatnot. So anywhere in between, that's kind of our sweet spot. And I'll give you some examples towards the end of this right here for small, medium, large as well. So in the book, K1, chapter 15, or the book you can get online, is called Managing the Money. And there's some rough rules of thumb as far as how to apply what timber framing is and the cost. And also in that section 3, it really talks about the process, logistics, and we're just working at that point. Once it's construction, we've taken off our designer hat and we've got our craftsman hat on, which is, we're just another subcontractor in the logistics loop through the building process. And basically working right in tandem with the framers.
Engineering, when you put together a structure like this, as far as going to a more great room environment,
Mm-hmm.
how do you figure that part out?
So the engineering, a lot of people wonder about engineering with timber framing, and that's part of what we provide, the design and engineering. And we've got our engineer kind of used to what we do. We've got a handful of them, and it's applied math and figuring, so it's nothing different than what they do for a bridge. You just smaller scale and using different values, but it's not a problem.
But you can't have a more vast kinds of expanse using timber framing than you could using just regular stick-up.
It's comparable.
So you don't get any huge ability.
That's kind of a thing in the timber frame world. We talk about big open floor plans, but it's not really true. I mean, conventional building gives you just as much open space as timbers will. In some cases even more, but depending on the configuration of the building. But so chapter 15, section 3 talks about logistics and process. The biggest takeaway from chapter 15 is putting the cost control into your hands. We do the creative lifting and kind of advise as far as what things are costing. So you're left, right, whatever. Excuse me, left, right. Go ahead.
If you, when you were talking about, do you install it or do you,
We bring it, we deliver it, and we install it if that's what you want us to do.
can you just deliver it?
Yep, and then you can put it together with your dad, have so much fun.
And buy a really big piece of equipment.
Yeah, you could drive it even. You could drive the big forklift. Yeah. So one of the takeaways here is there's an example of, there's 15 different examples, and the room doesn't change as far as size. The wall height stays the same, the pitch stays the same, so none of that changes. And you can dramatically change the look and feel of what's going to happen by changing any of those, the footprint, the wall height, or the slope. But yet this is all the same for all 15 examples, and you get a kind of a wildly different look at, you get very spread cost points or investment points. So out of these, we'll just do this. We have a few more examples. Which do you suppose is the least expensive and then the most expensive?
Bottom right, the cheap one.
Bottom right here? That's not the cheapest.
Not cheap, but yeah, least expensive.
The least expensive.
Modified
Oh,
most expensive.
Yes, this is the most expensive. And one next to it, I think is
Cheapest.
dual beam. That would be the least expensive. Okay, so here we have the same room, different looks. What is the least expensive and the most expensive in your opinion?
Post
Post and beam, bingo.
and probably double. Yeah,
Double purlins.
yeah.
Okay, you're on a roll, son. You get first guess on the next one. This was only 3. This will top out our 15.
Probably the king, that one, and then the far left. Yeah, the cheapest.
Okay.
And then the most expensive. Probably the
This one right here. Yep, you got it. Woohoo! Okay, and then also in the book, chapter 4, so the first section of the book that Kate won there, it's really talking about your duties, your responsibility as the captain of your journey. And this one particular talks about hiring choices. Who's going to help you out? Might be the most important decision you make. So this particular picture with this logging clear cut thing, it reminds me of a story that happened to my uncle years ago. He's developing some property. He hired a logger logged it, and then left the property like this and called my uncle and says, well, got it all about wrapped up. So, and then my uncle went out there and was like, that's not done to me. And then so I was hearing this story later, and my uncle had then found another logger who had a better idea of what was done and that matched his, and hired him. And in my head, I'm thinking, well, why didn't he just have the first guy do what he's supposed to do? Let him off the hook. I mean, and then as I've gotten older and gone through more, whatever, getting along, communication, all this, I realized that, okay, that was kind of smart. He realized he made a hiring choice error. And yes, he could have gotten logger A back there to do some stuff, but there would have been relationship collateral spent, and he knew the guy, and it would never get to where he wanted it done. Never, right? I mean, you're just too far apart. And so he admitted he made a hiring mistake, hired the right guy, and then so now moving forward, he had the pain of and then admitting that we make a mistake, that helps us move forward. And so that was pretty smart. That was wise. And so if we are a good fit and whatever, our role right here is just a little Yoda on your shoulder as your advisor, helping you figure out what it is you want to do and doing the creative work. And that's us. And I'm even bald. My ears will get like that once I'm 90. Okay, so that's a big takeaway right there. And then as far as cost going, here's a small project. You can kind of see the before and after. And this is, again, like I pointed out, like the heart and liver of what we do, that passion for making things look good with timbers. Some differences here. These roofs right here don't have this flare out. It's just really been something that's been proven true time and time again. If you want to really make that kind of pop and have energy, just get it to kind of go somewhere, soar, spread its wings. And this post right here was kind of a linchpin to that whole design, something that's kind of like, and not too janky or angled to where it still kind of fits. It's kind of perpendicular to the roof. And I don't know where that came from, but it was really a fun plan, and that's why we included it, showing modern, and that's that surprise piece. And then now for you guys, so again, we're talking design, engineering, stain, install, joinery, all that. What does that one cost? Okay, do you want to take a guess? We're thinking thousands. It's kind of the same as the last one. 50. And this one really, for the install, that's a ton of work. You're going to need lifts, you're going to need equipment to get these brackets up. And then this post isn't going to just stand there by itself. It's going to take a little bit of care. So that one could easily be $30K without install. That's it. All right, we're going to take a guess at this one. And this was the home I was referring to that we made the roof steeper. If you look at the before and afters. And that's more rustic, in line with where they wanted to go. They were kind of craftsman rustic. This is more craftsman with that lower pitch. You add the rustic piece in, and a lot of little things that we did here to first create help with the canvas. One is this right here it's kind of a big protruding feature, and you really see it once you put it in 3D. It really becomes pretty evident. And so that, one of the things we did there is we dropped this a foot and suggested using scissor trusses, and then, 'cause that's just a bonus room. So 7-foot walls with a vault. Now we brought that down a foot. We raised the main roof up. It makes that feel smaller, and it also helps balance the timber here. And so that the pitch got a little steeper, but the linchpin to this whole design flowing is this little guy right here. See this little triangle, this little flag roof that's right here? Once that flag roof got put in, now you had kind of this lower energy, and it just kind of brought all that together. This was actually a 2016 Parade of Homes project. It did pretty well for the layout. The floor plan's pretty cool. And then the timbers, of course, they call it the timber line. Okay, any guesses? So the darkened timbers you see with the bent beams, we'll get into how we do that. But anyone care to hazard a guess?
I'm guessing 70 to 80,000.
70 to 80,000. Okay, anyone else?
20.
Was that 120? Anyone else? 250. What's that? 150. You might be the closest. Let's see. Yeah, you might be. 175. And I'm having to, it was a lot less in 2016. I mean, I'm creating a lot of money, so it doesn't go as far as it used to. So I'm kind of having to guess a little bit, but somewhere around there. Okay, and here's another project. This one we took the floor plan from scratch, developed the elevations, the roof lines. The first roof line wasn't exactly what the people wanted. We got feedback, and if we do a project together and we're designing what happens, and we tell people the first time we're looking at what we create, that there's no wrong, that what you don't like, say, and what you like, say, because to get it all right the first time through is pretty rare. And this one, we kind of missed it on the roof, had it on the, and, but anyway, this one wound up pretty big. There's timbers you can't see. There's a lot here in front. There's some in back. You see them going through the great room. There's timbers down in there. This whole thing is, you mentioned, coexisting. This is like a garage with a hole downstairs. It's for mother-in-law suite. Kind of, and this one has a stairway, and then next to the stairway, they have a slide. Pretty cool. What do you think that home with the slide cost? This one's gonna be
Cost of the entire house?
yeah, the timbers like you see here. Like that's like we would do them, but just inflate your numbers.
Is it the cost of the entire house?
No, just the cost of the timber package.
220 or 30,000.
220 and 30. Okay, so we're higher than the last one, not high enough. You want to do another guess? Like not even close. Go ahead, Kate. 400?
240.
Kate's got it on the high end. We figured 350 to 4. And this is one that we actually didn't install. That's the competent framers, and so then you chop that down by quite a bit. But this is kind of getting pretty complex, kind of borderline. If they're too complex, I start to get nervous if someone's going to install them themselves, just because their problem is still our problem, you know. And it's just like, there's one job we did. The framer was thumping his chest, and he'd done timbers before. And he could install it for $3,000. The bill's like, oh, really? And then so, and we had 15,000 or something for install. And so rather than say anything, the general manager at the time just brought out both trailers loads of wood, and the trailers show up, and the owner was out there with the framer when the trailers showed up. There's some honking posts. I mean, they're big beams, and he said the framer was walking around the trailer, his eyes as big as saucers, and that he no longer interested in installing that. And that happens a lot. I mean, you can imagine handling all these beams behind this, but it's not rocket science, and it's really comparable to framing. So if the framer's competent or the builder's competent, installs pretty good way to go. We don't have to mobilize. We stay here making our dust in the shop. It's a good way to roll. Okay, so did we answer cost in general enough terms to help you out for your kids and inheritance? All right. This will be recorded if you want to give your kids a heads up. Okay, so cost comparison. Okay, and what order do we take these in? I'll take an easy one here, bending the wood. That is possible to bend the wood. It takes a steamer, and you have to steam the wood in hot water an hour per inch of wood. So if you've got a beam that is 16 inches tall and you're going to bend it, it's got to be steamed for 16 hours. You rush it out of the steamer, and you just bend it right in place. You have all your anchors, and you squish it right in place and bend it. And it's a lot of work. And then the other thing with the arch like that is once it comes out of the clamp, each arch will spring back a little bit different. And so what we really do is we just take a big piece of wood like so, and we'll just cut an arch out of it. That's how it works.
It's like the Queen Trust that you showed us, there's probably 3 segments.
And you can bring the segments, you can bring it to 2, like, yeah, some of that, when you see the king post go like this, but now you get to cut out of a smaller piece. And that one with the timber line, that one, one thing that drove the cost up on that one is those were continuous bottom cords. So they were like 28, 30 inches tall with a big arch and long. That starts to be challenging. Okay. Okay, well, let's talk about the pros and cons of timber frame versus framing. And the pros of timber framing are really all about creating a neat look and feel. A small percentage of people interested in this are purists. They want to see oak pegs and mortise and tenon everywhere, even where it's difficult and it doesn't show. That's kind of the purist heart. But for the most part, it's all about creating a nice look, and it's got a lot of history. I think wood resonates with our psyche because it's been used for generations and generations as homes and gathering places and all that. And then as far as the framing, that's kind of the best, or maybe not the best, but the most prevalent way to build walls and keep weather out. Some people are doing a full timber frame, and then they're using SIPS panels. And that's kind of like a big Oreo cookie. It's got a piece of OSB or plywood on the outside, it's got foam in the inside, and a piece of OSB. And it's very rigid, really strong, super good for insulation. It gets a little bit expensive, especially on a complex building, it gets real expensive. That's another way people are doing it. And if for a full timber frame, that is, the old numbers were starting at 600 a square foot for building a full timber frame. Most of what we do and most of what most timber frame companies do is hybrid timber framing, because people are not interested in putting beams in the laundry room and beams in that sort of thing. And then if you do a full timber frame, stylistically, you are, how are we doing? 8 o'clock, okay, yeah, we're just about there. Stylistically, you kind of paint yourself into a corner. You only have so many options. Whereas the hybrid will work for all kinds of different, to accentuate whatever your particular style is. Is that getting to what you're asking, Sean, for pros and cons? Or did you ask that? Oh, okay, yes. Whoop, okay,
Just agree.
yep, all right.
That was getting one of my questions was, in your business, what percentage of your packages are going out to new construction versus retrofit? And then that SIP thing was like in the new construction, how prevalent is that? I mean, I see a lot of stuff online, but that doesn't mean it's actually at a home near me.
So the question was, how much of our work is going to new construction, how much to remodels or that sort of thing, and then of our work, how often are SIPS panels involved?
In the new construction.
In the new construction, yes. Okay, so the SIPS panels we've done them, and I don't have anything against them. For the right situation, I think they're pretty nice. And my idea of right situation is pretty narrow, and that may be why we haven't done it as much, but it's also, so just real quickly, they cost quite a bit. And the labor you save from the framing, that's somewhat subjective. I mean, if you're going to read the sales pamphlets, they'll offset it with X, Y, and Z, but there's a lot of lead time, and lead time is expensive in that you have to really think about window location, lighting, plumbing, all that has to be figured out way in advance. Whenever you're doing that, somebody has to think hard. Thinking is resources, thinking is money. Whether it's you or who's ever doing it, if you're 2 years away, you have to think harder than if you're 2 months away. That's just how it is. And so there's costs associated there. Subcontractors coming through may or may not be used to SIPs. They're going to have to charge more because they got a learning curve. They don't know what they're getting into. If they don't charge more, they'll probably be knocking on the door hat in hand later. So there's just a lot of, whereas my recommendation for most things is just to do standard stud framing, spray and insulation, spray foam, and then the insul board on the outside of the wall. Yep. Okay. So that kind of touches on construction methods, cost comparison. I think we've got the process. Do we answer that? Okay. So I'm just going to move forward here. We got to give you guys time to eat up some snacks. We still have food. Okay, so this is one way you can help us move forward on our journey. Subscribe on YouTube, comment. We do have the online book, the Style Finder, the 2 books, and referrals. If you know of someone who likes this stuff, refer them to the website, see where that goes. And then lately we've kind of had a thing with getting 5-star reviews in Google. It's Google reviews. If that's not too painful. For me, it's painful. People have asked me to do it and I've done it, but oh man, I got to go down to Granny Gear and think, and it's just really painful. It was not too painful, and you feel like we've given enough value tonight to do that. We'd appreciate it. But that's all we have. Been a great audience. So if you got to go, I know it's starting to get a little later, and maybe there's school tomorrow and different things, but we do have food, and we're here to chat with you if you have more questions. Thank you.
Oh, it is.
So we've got, yeah. So right now, like all the jobs that we've got going on active,